Hi, this is Jack Downs with a little rundown of some of the stuff from class today, Thursday the 14th. For those of you who missed class because you were sick or one thing or another. I'm going to send you these handouts in the email that the link to this video is attached to. Of course, today what we did most of the day was most of the class was we did the quotation presentations. And of course, we'll be hoping that you can do yours next class. So we're hoping you'll be doing yours as a makeup presentation. But then after those, I handed out what's the next presentation. This presentation will be due in 2 weeks. So today is Thursday the 14th. So not next Thursday, but the Thursday after. This presentation will be given in class. So you have a little bit more time, but there's a little research required in this presentation, and definitely more structure and so on too. Yes, I'm going to be giving you the rubric, which you should look at, but you should get a copy from me when you're next in class so we can use the on-paper copy. And I'll give you a copy of this when you're next in class too, if you remember to ask me. But let me go over it a little bit. This handout is set up, it begins by talking about the body of your speech, which, if you think about it, makes sense because the body is the content that you're going to be researching and developing. In fact, I'm giving you 3 main ideas, 3 main points. It will be the body of your speech. And they require different kinds of thought and research. Main idea number 1, and this is by the way, the overall project is called the Etymology Name Presentation. Etymology is the meaning or derivation of names, of words, but it's not just any words, this is about your name. And in fact, we're going to imagine it as almost certainly about your first name. So, what is the meaning of your name is main idea number 1. You're going to research this and report this information using at least 2 sources, although they could be on paper books that you go find at the library. You could definitely find a book about baby names or about meanings of names or derivations of names. That would be available to you. Almost certainly, I imagine you're going to do some web searches for this. Hopefully, you'll find some good websites. There's a lot of them out there. Have to do with the derivation of names, where names come from, the meaning of names, the history of names. So you're going to do some research, probably, as I say, online mostly. So you gather this information from at least 2 sources, and you have to make sure to record the sources and who they are. And you're also going to speak the sources in your presentation. So that's going to make you add credibility. You're going to add the credentials. So you're going to say, for instance, the name Jack is most commonly a nickname for the name John, according to wikitree.com, the Downs name family page there, which was written by so-and-so, or which was updated most recently in 2022 or whatever. So you like to give the source and then 2 additional pieces of information about the source. And you will likely have more information than just what I said there, and then more discussion about that based on your research. And then you'll do another source. And it's okay if you find sources that have a variety of meanings or information about the history of your name, or maybe your name has got different meanings in different cultures or different languages or so on, right? So we're interested in your name, where it comes from. Not when I say where it comes from, like in history, or where it comes from as far as the meaning of it. Perhaps you have like a 2-part name, has like 2 different names put together. Maybe you kind of have to work on both of them separately if you don't find it easily. You could, as part of this, also find out about how common your name is. That would be some other part of the research you could use too. Okay, so that's the first main idea, is the meaning of your name, the history of your name, the background of your name, academically kind of, right? Now we move on to main idea number 2. It's how did you get your name? How was your name selected? Who gave you your name? What was the process of getting your name? Was your name where did your name come from in your family, in other words? So for this, you need to do an interview. It's almost certainly going to be with a family member. Um, it could be, you know, a father or mother, uncle, cousin, brother, sister, or family friend, somebody who is involved in the process of you getting your name. And you're hoping you're going to conduct an interview with those people, and maybe even more than one person, probably on the phone, maybe in person if you have that option. But you're going to take notes, right? You're going to transcribe those notes right away. And you're going to have to submit to me as part of paperwork for this presentation, either on paper in person or on Brightspace, the typed questions and answer transcript of the interview. So again, you're going to take notes from it and you're going to type it up. So that's the paperwork you're going to submit with this. So that's something that's a little different. We have paperwork to submit, either in person, on paper, or on Brightspace. So you're going to figure out who's the best people to talk to, and talk to that person or those people, and take notes and gather the information. And when you speak this in your presentation, you're going to credit this to them. You're going to say who you talked to and what they told you. Maybe you know all this information already, or maybe you learn something new. Okay. Now, if it happens that there's a good reason why you can't speak to that person. I don't want to make anybody do something uncomfortable or dangerous or whatever. If there is not a person available for you to speak to about how you got your name, talk to me, and there's another option for main idea number 2. But we'll expect that most people will talk to a family member about how they got their name, who gave them the name, what was the process, what other names might have been considered, and so on. Then main idea number 3 is I want you to reflect. This is personal reflection and not research about your name, how accurately it reflects you, would another name match you better? Perhaps you already use another name. Perhaps you already changed your name from your original name. Talk about your name and what it means to you and how you feel about it. So that's main idea number 3. So now we'll go backwards to the very beginning and talk about the introduction. So you're going to definitely you're already sensing that this presentation has more structure than our presentations in the past. You're going to first of all, for your introduction, you're going to begin your introduction with at least 2 attention-getting devices. And I list a number of them here. You might have a quotation about your name. That would be fine if you found one and you liked it and it made sense. That would be an attention-getting device. A rhetorical question is a question that you ask not expecting to get an answer to. I began my collage presentation with a rhetorical question. Does the place you grow up and the people you're around do these things turn you into the person that you are? Then you usually answer the question yourself. So you're not. It's a rhetorical question is one that you pose, not expecting the audience to answer. An illustration or a visual aid is a possibility to catch attention. Probably not in this one, but it's possible. Humor certainly is a possibility. Suspense, giving us suspense, arousing our curiosity, using some kind of startling statement. No, don't yell fire when you get up there. However, you could tell something really surprising or interesting about your name. Avoid weak or cliche beginnings. You're not going to say, okay, all right, my name is Nora, or imagine, or close your eyes, or before I begin my speech. No. Or hi, or my name is. No. You're going to do these attention-getting devices, and you're going to let them build to your topic, which is your name. So then you clarify what the topic is. Your name. You're going to tell us your name and tell us that that's the topic you're speaking about. And finally, the introduction ends with what we call a signposted preview statement. You're going to list your main ideas that are going to come. A signposted preview statement is you giving us a list of the things you're going to tell us. You tell us what you're going to tell us, and then you tell us those things. It lets people know what's coming, so it makes more sense when we get to it. You're giving them an advanced list of things that are coming. You use we language. You use various words for talk, like describe, discover, explore, explain, reveal, so on and so forth. And you deliver this usually at a slower rate. You order the main ideas listed in the same order that you're going to give them, and it precedes the body of the speech. So, in other words, I would say something like, having build to the topic instead of what my topic is, I'm going to say, first, we will discuss the history of my name and where my name what the name Jack means, where the meaning comes from. Next, we will discover the story behind my name and how I received it from my family when I was born. And finally, we'll reveal my feelings about my name and how I think it does or doesn't reflect me. So that's a signposted previous statement. I used we. I varied the word for talk. I could use the word talk, but I don't want to say it 3 times, in other words. And I listed my main ideas that way. I did it a little slower in organized fashion, and they came in the same order I'm about to do them. Then there is a pause, and I begin with my main ideas. And I go through those in a lot more detail, try to get more depth and content in there. Remember, this is supposed to be 3 minutes altogether. And then you go through the main ideas, main idea number 1, number 2, number 3. Hopefully you can build some little transitions between them. And then there's a pause again, and you begin your conclusion. And again, you avoid cliche remarks as part of your conclusion. We don't say in conclusion or to sum it all up or in summary or any of those things like that. They're listed here, right? No, we need to let our words work for us. And to make a conclusion make sense, it should be indicating that we are nearing the end. One way to signal that we're ending is to refer back to your attention-getting devices, the things you said at the beginning. Also, you probably slow down and change your tone. As part of the conclusion, usually after you refer back to the beginning in some way to let people know you're coming back around again, you are going to reinforce the content. You're going to hit your key ideas again, but in different language. Things you want the audience to remember, like the key main ideas of the meaning of the word that is your name, where it comes from in language or history or whatnot, the derivation of it. You're going to hit them with something, again, a brief version of the process by which you got your name, how your name came to you from your family. And then you're going to, again, mention briefly that how you feel about your name. But again, not using the exact same language you just did. And finally, it'd be nice to have some kind of a clincher, we call it. A clincher is that strong last line or idea. We don't just say I'm done or that's it or thank you. You want to have something clever or funny, perhaps a quotation, some other device that is going to work for you. So imagine something like it's a drum roll at the end. Humor usually works. Perhaps it is a quotation, something else that involves maybe that came from the beginning. Clinchers it's great when you hit a good one. Hopefully you will. And then, by the way, this whole structure is very useful for essays and actually even for writing in journalism. This kind of structure can be very helpful to think about a lot of ways to build a lot of your content. Finally, I will say that we are going to use, this will be the first time you use index cards. Don't worry about it too much right now. You have the research to do. You're going to take all regular notes for that. You're going to make sure to keep track of your sources. You're going to do the interview. You're going to transcribe the interview. You're going to do all that stuff. You won't start making index cards immediately. When you do, they're going to be mostly bullet points in an outline form that is just going to give you the little bits of information to keep you going or to remind you what it was you were going to say. So you will be using index cards for this, multiple index cards. There'll be at least one for the introduction, one for the conclusion, and at least one for each main idea. So I would say there's a minimum of 5, and there may be a few more. You'll write relatively large on them and clearly so you can easily make note of them. You'll make sure you don't write lots of full sentences and you don't read your speech from your index cards. Okay, so that's what I went over after the presentation. Let us know if there's any questions or whatever, and I hope to see you in class soon.